So full disclosure, like at a certain point, like my video just like froze. But the audio still rolled on, so we're just gonna keep it because all it did is just like me reading and like putting them in my stupid facial expressions. Anyways, enjoy. What's going on, Jerome's? Minnesota Vikings still added at training camp, practice number 11 ahead of Saturday's preseason game, first one against the Las Vegas Raiders. Still weird to say. They need to move back to Oakland. You know, like the Las Vegas crowd, it's way too corporate. And also, it's a destination city for the visiting fans, so you never have a home field advantage. They need to go back to Oakland. Who's visiting the Coliseum, right? The Black Hole was probably the best home field advantage in the league. Anyways, but JJ McCarthy, rookie future franchise of the Vikings, also maybe present franchise. It's not often that the backup quarterback has press conferences. That's different with the draft pick. But McCarthy fed the local media jackals on Wednesday. Now, I think this is the second press conference. He needs to take hat lessons from Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell. This doesn't look good. This looks like a ruffled sea captain hat. I don't know, man. Still pretty damn fire, though. But he had some thoughts on some things and just recapping it. Also, it's very clear that you can kind of tell from the tone and the tenor from the beat writers when they ask their questions, like they want to ask about the Michigan sanctions, except they don't want to be the first one to do it because, here's the thing. I respect beat writers because they have to balance between reporting the facts, being the connection with the fans, and also walking that line of journalistic integrity of not just being a PR branch of the team, but also, I mean, sometimes the tough questions and conversations can get you like 86th, ostensibly. And it's like, hey, do you really want to be on JJ McCarthy's bad side if he's going to be the franchise quarterback here for the Vikings or the next Tom Brady for the next 12 to 15 years? Do you want that? Do you just want him to look at you and just be like, I'm not answering your question? Probably not. So sort of tiptoeing around the Michigan questions. Anyways, but McCarthy is excited for the Sizzle US Bank Stadium on Saturday. Fired up, ready to go. Plus, I love how he talks about it. It's always like we. Like, I can't wait to get out there with the boys and show the fans what we've been working on. We. Not me. We. Also, this is funny. He said he's eager to see a vanilla defense instead of everything that Flores throwing at him. And also, the fact that Flores' first-team defense generally has been going against McCarthy and the second-team offense every single day. Flo's got his varsity just like chucking at him. It's funny, man. Also, Flores. So the thing I love about McCarthy is he's picking the brains of everyone, whether it's O'Connell, McCown, Mullins, Darnold, and also Brian Flores. And Flores' advice is use cadence as a weapon because, you hear it on the telecast, right? The quarterback's cadence. Here we go. Green, 16, blah, 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 blah. But, the whole thing about it is like, if you ever played like Pee Wee football or high school football, like when you change up the cadence, like it can put defense on its heels. Like especially if you have a rudimentary cadence, blah 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 on one, blah 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 on one. But if you change it up, if you change your tone, your tenor, the way that you bark things out at the line of scrimmage, not always going on the same one, like that can put the brakes on a defense and keep them off balance. Like they're not able to time your cadence, and defensive linemen, especially pass rushers, like they will study like the quarterback's cadence and they will get that thing down to a millisecond and respect the game there. But also you got to make sure that your offense is used to you and used to your changes as well, because otherwise everybody's just jumping. But it's fun just getting into like the nerdy minutia of everything with football, man. Also talked about intricacies and details in the game situation. That's what they want to see in preseason. So he sort of got into the Kevin O'Connell offense where it's not. He talked about the keys and main tenets and main principles of the KOC offense: spacing, timing, rhythm, etc. And also, and McCarthy's really honest here. He said you don't really need to know what the coverage is in a Kevin O'Connell offense because the plays are designed. Because O'Connell, you got coverage busters. What works against cover 2, cover 3, quarters, etc. What can you use to beat man? And that's all baked into what Kevin O'Connell and the coaching staff like they see on the field, scouting report ahead of time, as well as just trying to hit something in game. So, I mean, a lot of it is a quarterback can tend to overthink things. It's like, okay, they're in cover 2, they're in cover 3 this year, that's hot, blah, 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 he's got blah, blah. And that's why it can be overwhelming for rookie quarterbacks. So I love the way that Kevin O'Connell is bringing JJ McCarthy along. And also, I love how quarterback friendly it seems to be. Now, obviously, McCarthy's giving us 0.5% of the entire picture here, but yeah, that is interesting. You don't need to know what the coverage is in a Kevin O'Connell offense. Being a quarterback, consistency, not being too high, not being too low, trying to be that same guy every day, whether you won or you lost. Fully understand that. Plus, getting some advice, name dropping Peyton Manning. So Peyton Manning gave JJ some advice coming into the league. He said, quote, respect the NFL, but don't over-respect it. And, Peyton Manning being one of the best regular season quarterbacks of all time. He set the rookie record for interceptions with 28. I believe that record still stands. But obviously he learned from his mistakes and caught up to the speed of the game and sort of got over it. And speaking of getting over it, like he talked about bouncing back from his bad practice on Friday. And that was in stark contrast with Slinging Sam Darnold, who had himself a phenomenal practice. And frankly, that's probably been the low point for McCarthy so far in training camp. He's been very damn good overall, but Friday just wasn't it. And he talked about how at Michigan, as a freshman, he started this tradition where if he had a bad practice, he would just keep his tights on all night, and then he talked about how he'd strip things off and then just leave the pass in the pass. It was a little bit too erotic for a press conference on a Wednesday, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't have many of those days as a Viking, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Also talked about how acclimating to the NFL, he gave a lot of props to the quarterback room, especially Nick Mullins, who has been in the O'Connell offense the longest of any of the 4 quarterbacks. And, Mullins, so Mullins is interesting. So Mullins is a vet. Mullins played well last year when his number was called. And frankly, the better that JJ McCarthy looks, the less likely Nick Mullins is going to be here with the Vikings. I think that he could be cut or traded. But, props to Mullins. He's helping improve the guy that he's going to lose his job to, which, again, respect to Nick Mullins, man, because if JJ was bad, they would hang on to Mullins. If they have confidence in JJ being the QB2 at minimum, Mullins could be gone. We've said before, for rookie quarterbacks, simple things like getting the play call in, spitting it out in the huddle, and then getting up to the line of scrimmage before the play clock runs out, that's a big hurdle for a lot of guys, but notably, McCarthy's been like this. Also, so he brought up Jim Harbaugh and a quote that Harbaugh dropped on, quote, the days are long, but the years are short. Now, I've heard that applied to parenting as well, but I mean, football, yeah, certainly, and definitely with training camp. And again, I feel like McCarthy is just sort of like baiting the beat writers because he talked about him and the whole keeping the tights on at Michigan as a freshman, and then also Jim Harbaugh. They're just like, so what do you... So JJ, talk about Michigan and the sanctions. And then also you talked about how every defense has a tell and a player will give the play away, which is less likely in the Flores scheme since there's so many damn dudes just moving all over the place. But it is true because you'll see all of a sudden, hey, if a corner is blitzing, if a linebacker is blitzing, sometimes he can't wait. He'll get that extra step. Or if it's a bluff and then they're dropping off, it's pretty clear their intentions there. Or if they got a zone look and it turns into man, you move someone here or there. The eyes are different. Also, what was it from Any Given Sunday? The defensive lineman, if he's rushing every single time, but the knuckles turn white. I don't think it's that intricate, but that might just be in the movies. But either way, fired up to see JJ McCarthy in a game situation. I truly do believe that he is going to be the future of the franchise and maybe the present. But I guess we'll see. Anyways, your thoughts? JJ McCarthy fed the local media jackals today. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, his thoughts. Comment section below. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.